We're continuing our study and reading the book of Jubilee. We're currently on chapter 6. And so I hope if you have um, listened to our previous readings and our study and discussion, I hope that you've enjoyed. And so now we continue with the book of Jubilee, chapter 6.
For the earth, and took a young goat and made atonement by its blood for all the guilt of the earth. For everything that he had been on it had been destroyed, except those that were in the ark with Noah. He placed the fat of it on the altar, and he took an ox, a goat, and a sheep, and young goats, and salt, and a turtle dove, and the young of a dove, and placed a burnt sacrifice on the altar, and poured on it an offering mingled with oil, and sprinkled wine, and sprinkled frankincense over everything, and caused a good and pleasing aroma to arise, acceptable before Yahweh. Verse 4. And Yahweh smelled the good and pleasing aroma, and he made a covenant with Noah that there should not be any more floods to destroy the earth, that all the days of the earth, seed time and harvest, should never cease, cold and heat, and summer and winter, and the day and night should not change their order, nor cease forever. Verse 5. Increase and multiply on the earth, and become many, and be a pleasing on it. I will inspire the fear of you and the dread of you in everything that is on the earth and in the sea. Look, I have given you all beasts and all winged things and everything that moves on the earth, and the fish and in the waters, and all things for food. As the green herbs, I have given you all things to eat. But you shall not eat anything live or with blood in it, for the life of all flesh is in the blood, or your blood of your lives will be required. At the hand of every man, at the hand of every beast will I require the blood of man. Whoever sheds man's blood, by man shall his blood be shed. For in the image of Yahweh, the Most High, made man. Increase and multiply on the earth. Noah and his sons swore that they would not eat any blood that was in any flesh. And he made a covenant before Yahweh forever, throughout all the generations of the earth in this month. Verse 11. Because of this, he spoke to you that you should make a covenant with the children of Yasharel with an oath. In this month, on the mountain, you should sprinkle blood on them because of all the words of the covenant which Yahweh made with them forever. This testimony is written concerning you that you should observe it continually, so that you should not eat on any day any blood of beasts or birds or cattle during all the days of the earth. And the man who eats the blood of beasts or of cattle or of birds during all the days of the earth, he and his offspring shall be rooted out of the land. And you will command the children of Yasharel to eat no blood, so that their names and their offspring may be before Yahweh continually. There is no limit of days for this law, it is forever. They shall observe it throughout their generations, so that they may continue supplicating on your behalf with blood before the altar. Every day at the time of morning and evening, they shall seek forgiveness on your behalf, perpetually before Yahweh, that they may keep it and not be rooted out. Verse 15. And he gave to Noah and his sons a sign that there should not again be a flood on the earth. He set his bow, a rainbow in the cloud, as a sign of the eternal covenant, that there should never again be a flood on the earth to destroy it for all the days of the earth. For this reason, it is ordained and written on the heavenly tablet that they should celebrate the Feast of Weeks in this month once a year to renew the covenant every year. This whole festival was celebrated in heaven from the day of creation unto the days of Noah, which were 26 jubilees and 5 weeks of years. Noah and his sons observed it for 7 jubilees and 1 week of years until the day of Noah's death. From the day of Noah's death, his sons did away with it until the days of Abraham, and they ate blood. But Abraham observed it, and Isaac and Jacob and his children observe it up to your days. And in your days, the children of Yasharel forgot it until you celebrated it anew on this mountain. Command the children of Yasharel to observe this festival in all their generations for a commandment to them. One day in the year, in this month, they shall celebrate the festival. For it is the Feast of Weeks and the Feast of First Fruits. This feast is twofold and of a double nature, according to what is written and engraved concerning it. Celebrate it. For I have written in the book of the first law, in that which I have written for you, that you should celebrate it in its season, one day in the year. And I explained to you its sacrifices, that the children of Yasharel should remember and should celebrate it throughout their generations in this month, the same day every year. Verse 23. In the first new month and in the fourth new month, and in the seventh new month, and in the 10th new month are the days of remembrance, and the days of the seasons in the 4 divisions of the year. These are written and ordained as a testimony forever. Noah ordained them for himself as feasts for the generations forever, so that they have become a memorial to him. On the first new month, he was told to make for himself an ark. And on that day, the earth was dry. And he saw from the open ark the earth. On the 4th new month, the mouths of the depths of the bottomless pit beneath were closed. On the 7th new month, all the mouths of the abysses of the earth were open, and the waters began to descend into them. On the 10th new month, the tops of the mountains were seen, and Noah was glad. Because of this, he ordained them for himself as feasts for a memorial forever. And thus are they ordained. And they placed them on the heavenly tablets. Such had 13 weeks, from one to another past their memorial, from the first to the second, and from the second to the third, and from the third to the fourth. All the days of the commandment will be 250 weeks of days, and this will make the entire year complete. Thus it is engraved and ordained on the heavenly tablets, and there is no neglecting this commandment for a single year or from year to year. Verse 32. Command you, the children of Yasharel, that they observe the years according to this, counting 364 days, and this will constitute a complete year, and they will not disturb its time from its days and from its feasts. For everything will fall out in them according to their testimony, and they will not leave out any day nor disturb any feast. But if they neglect and do not observe them according to his commandment, then they will disturb all their seasons, and the years will be dislodged from this order, and this will neglect their established rules. And all the children of Yasharel will forget and will not find the paths of the years, and will forget the new months and season and Sabbaths, and they will wrongly determine all the order of the years. For I know, and from now on will I declare it to you, and it is not of my own devising, for the book lies written in the presence of me, and on the heavenly tablets the division of these is ordained. Or they forget the feast of the covenant and walk according to the feast of the Gentiles, after their error and after their ignorance. For there will be those who will assuredly make observations of the moon and how it disturbs the seasons and comes in from year to year 10 days too soon. For this reason, the years will come upon them when they disturb or misinterpret the order and make an abominable day the day of testimony, and an unclean day a feast day. And they will confound all the days, the pure with the unclean, and the unclean day with the pure. For they will go wrong as to the months and Sabbaths and feasts and jubilees. For this reason, I command and testify to you that you may testify to them. For after your death, your children will disturb them, so that they will not make the year 364 days only. And for this reason, they will go wrong as to the new months and seasons and Sabbaths and festivals, and they will eat all kinds of blood with all kinds of flesh. The word of war. Okay. So I think we can go section by section now. I'm going to read from verse 1 to 4, and we can discuss it. Uh, So on the 10th new month, he went out of the ark and built an altar on that mountain, and he made atonement for the earth, and took a young goat and made atonement by its blood for all the guilt of the earth, for everything that had been on it had been destroyed, except those that were in the ark with Noah. He placed the fat of it on the altar, and he took an ox and a goat and a sheep and young goats and salt and a turtle dove and the young of a dove, and place a burnt sacrifice on the altar, and pour on it an offering mingled with oil, and sprinkled wine and sprinkled frankincense over everything, and caused a good and pleasing odor to arise acceptable before Yahweh. And Yahweh smelled the good and pleasing odor, and he made a covenant with Noah. And there should not be any more floods to destroy the earth, that all the days of the earth, seed time and harvest, should never cease. Cold and heat, and summer and winter, and day and night should not change their order, nor cease forever. Okay, so as we read this, any observations, any insight? Okay. So I have a question. If we don't have any observation, any insight? Um, wait 1 second. Yes, Sister Abner.
Hi, greetings, everyone. Um, just one thing that caught my attention here, and in the past, as I learned more about like eating of clean animals, and is about the not consuming blood. Like, I never realized how big of a deal that is. I knew that it's something that Muslims don't do. Like, I understand that that's what halal is, right? So correct me if I'm wrong, but it's when they drain the blood from the animal first. And so, yeah, it's just very like eye-opening how many practices we've kind of just pushed to the side. Meanwhile, when you read these books, it's like, no, this is not an optional thing or it's not a minor thing. It's huge. So I'm just like, wow, we're very much in error. It means a lot. And then it says you should do this forever, right? So again, it comes back to what we were talking about a couple of days ago in terms of like, do we still have to do all this? Or is it just, being legalistic, or is it the old way? But I believe in one of the verses that you read, Sister Mapes was like, you should do this forever. So yeah, maybe some other groups are onto something.
Definitely, Sister Abena. And you're right. Like reading this, I realized that, I mean, all the things that we shifted to the side. And I guess we were never taught. I mean, the teachings we had before we came to the truth, they never really dwelled on it. And why is that? I mean, at the beginning of the book of Jubilees, it told us that we are going to do that. So I'm thankful to God that we are where we are right now, coming back to His Word and try to live accordingly, like the way He would like us to live. So, absolutely, great point. And Sister Tanita.
Hi, greetings, everyone. What I saw here was how Noah, when he came out of the ark, and in verse 2, how it's speaking of um, Noah making atonement for all sins that had been committed on the earth.
Mhm.
Yeah, and it goes into great detail here about why he did it. In Genesis 8, starting at verse 19, it
Yeah.
didn't stand out to me before. I see now in verse 20 that it says that Noah builded an altar unto the Lord and took of every clean beast and of every clean fowl and offered burnt offerings on the altar, and that it was a sweet smell to the Most High, but it doesn't say in there, like the reasons. So I really like how in here it addresses the reason that he did it and how he arranged the things. So, and how the Father accepted it, and how it looks like it may be tied to the seasons and everything. So I thought that was a good takeaway.
Absolutely. And that is quite powerful too for him to do that. And as I was doing the reading, I kept on asking myself, like, how did Noah know what to do? But then again, I guess his grandfather was Enoch. So he'd been taught what to do. So that was quite powerful. So, yeah, absolutely. Thank you for that, Sister Tanita. Sister Nicole.
Greetings. For me, I think the thing that the first observation I took was basically Noah's first movements after coming off the ark. The first thing was on his mind was to worship the
Mm-hmm.
Most High. That was his response to deliverance, was to worship. Because I can think back to the times where we cry out to the Father when we're in the midst of a storm. We cry out to him, and as soon as he delivers us from what we're going through, a lot of times, and I know I was really guilty of this, was when I was younger. I would say as young as my 20s and 30s, maybe even my early 40s. I was like, once I was delivered, that was it. I went back on to life. I just started lifing again, and it was really like, I don't know, but now, but Noah, after all of this, the first thing he thought to do was to worship the Father. And I think that's something that we can take from that, is when he bring us through something, is the work to worship him and not just go right back to life as usual. continue to lift him up and glorify his name even after, the storm. That's all I know.
Yeah, that's pretty powerful, Sister Nicole. Like that when he came out of the ark, that was the first thing that he thought to do, to worship, and to demonstrate, thanksgiving and faith. And like you said, yeah, I don't know if it was me after I've gotten out of the ark, I don't know what I would do. But anyway, I'm thankful that it was Noah and it was not me. So yeah, that was pretty powerful. But I have a question though, like how does God's covenant after the flood, redefine his relationship with us and all living creatures? I can repeat the question. So, how does the Most High covenant after the flood redefine his relationship with us and all living things? Yes, Brother Reno.
Yes, I feel like the promise to not flood the earth again was like a refreshing reprieve, I guess. Like it, you know, that was pretty cool, for him to be like, well, after all this, I'm not gonna do it with water again. But but I couldn't help but to think in my head after I heard that, I was like, so I guess the next time it's gonna be fire, right? I don't know.
But that's pretty powerful, Brother Reno. And I mean, as we can see in our lives, he's been consistent. Everything that he had said that he would do, he's been very, very consistent with his word. And even though we were not there when it happened, I mean, since the time that it happened up to now, here we are talking about it. How many years has it been? He's been pretty consistent. And that's one thing we can take, we can apply to our lives, knowing that other people will question you about why to believe in what to begin with, and everything that humans can think of. But by his grace, here we are, talking about what he had promised us, what the covenant was since then. And I'm very thankful for that. So yeah, thank you so much, Brother Reno. Anybody else? Yes, Sister Nicole.
I just wanted to point out how he says that it's not just us. He don't just mention us. He mentions for generations to come. And when you look in scripture, you think about when the Father talks to us about curses and blessings. I think I can't remember exactly which scripture it was where he talks about that he would, for a curse, he would curse you for, I think it was 7 generations, but for his blessings are for 1,000 generations. And that's like forever. And he also says that his blessings are not just for you, but for your generations and all, even other living creatures that are with you. So his blessings are not just for you, it's for you, for all generations and for every living creature that is with you. And that's something that I noticed.
Very powerful, Sister Nicole. Thank you. Anybody has any point, any Anything to add before I move on to the next session? Okay, so I'm going to continue on. We are going to do verse 5 to 10. And it starts by saying, increase and multiply on the earth and become many and be a blessing on it. I will inspire the fear of you and the dread of you in everything that is on earth and in the sea. Look, I have given you all beasts and all winged things and everything that moves on the earth, and the fish in the waters and all things for food. As the green herbs, I have given you all things to eat, but you shall not eat anything live or with blood in it, for the life of all flesh is in the blood, or your blood of your lives will be required. At the hand of every man, at the hand of every beast will I require the blood of man. Verse 8, whoever sheds man's blood, by man shall his blood be shed, for in the image of the Most High he made man. Increase and multiply on the earth. Noah and his sons swore that they would not eat any blood that was in any flesh. And he made a covenant before Yahweh the Most High forever throughout all the generations of the earth. In this month, so any takeaway from that session? Yes, Sister Tanita.
I don't really have a takeaway because I think it's pretty clear here, but I have a question. Can I ask that now?
Of course.
Okay. So I don't really eat steak much, but when I do, I get it like well done. And I know quite a few people that order theirs less than well done. Would that apply here? Because I think I've heard people say it's actually not blood at that point, but I see red and I see liquid so I want to know your thoughts on that. That's my question. I guess the question is,
Yeah, that is the question. Anybody has an insight answer from Sister Tanita?
Maybe what was the question again, Tanita?
yeah, I was thinking, I said maybe I should ask the question. So would not getting I guess the redness in the steak or not ordering it well done, whatever redness or fluid that's or liquid that is there, is that blood? I think I looked it up once and they were saying that it's not actually blood at that time, but I want to get some feedback on it. Not well done steak, where you can see redness or liquids and fluids. Is that considered blood when it's talking about not to eat blood?
I don't know. I always kind of wondered that myself. Some argue that it actually is blood. I know, I'm not gonna lie, I don't eat well done steak. I eat them medium well where it's slightly pink, but there's no blood because honestly, me personally, I'm glad the Father did it to me, but I can't even stomach eating food that have the taste. And for me, like I think years ago, like I've always been grossed out by people that ate meat with the presence of blood. And I think I tasted a steak before that was like medium or meat, and it was absolutely disgusting. It tastes of blood. So sometimes, I mean, I think it's blood by what I taste, and that's why I have nothing to do with it. And I think this was even before I've come to this walk, I felt that way. That was something that was always, it took me until I was in my 30s to even eat a medium well steak, because I used to always eat them well done. But I don't know. To me, it tasted like blood.
Uh, that's a very good question, Sister Tanita. And actually, like as Sister Nicole said, I've always done like medium well, but since I came to the way and really reading the Word of Wow, I mean, I don't eat out that much, but now I make sure that it's well done. I don't know. I guess the side of blood, whatever that means, I'm not sure, but I've maintained it, very well done now for whatever, it means. But that's a very good question. Anybody has any take on that? Okay, so my question to us is like, I guess we've discussed it a little bit. Like, what is the significance of not consuming blood, and how does it apply to us respecting life? I can repeat it again. What is the significance of not consuming blood, and how does it apply to the respect of life? Yes, Sister Nicole.
I think because in scripture it associates blood with life. And then the Most High says that life belongs to him. So I think that's I don't know, I guess that's where I feel like the issue with blood comes from, because scriptures, like I said, scripture says that basically the blood is life, and life belongs to the Most High. So that's the only thing I can get out of it.
Absolutely. You hit it right in the head, 100%. Absolutely. Anybody else? Okay. All right. I'll go to the next session. Verse 11 to 14. Because of this, he spoke to you that you should make a covenant with the children of Yasharel with an oath. In this month, on the mountain, you should sprinkle blood on them because of all the words of the covenant which Yahweh made with them forever. This testimony is written concerning you, that you should observe it continually, so that you should not eat on any day any blood of beast or birds or cattle during all the days of the earth. And the man who eats the blood of beast or of cattle or of birds during all the days of the earth, he and his offspring shall be rooted out of the land. And you will command the children of Yasharel to eat no blood, so that their names and their offspring may be before Yahweh, the Most High, continually. There is no limit of days for this law, so this is eternal. It is forever. They shall observe it throughout their generations, so that they may continue supplicating on your behalf with blood before the altar. Every day and at time of morning and evening they shall seek forgiveness on your behalf, and perpetually before Yahweh, that they may keep it and not be rooted out. Any observation, any insight, any question? Yes, Sister Tanita.
I was going to answer on that last question, if it's okay. I was going to just
Yes.
point out what I was seeing in verse I think it was 10. It says Noah and his sons, they made an everlasting covenant not
Benign.
to not to eat blood. And they're saying it was an everlasting covenant, and that this covenant was established with Yahweh through all generations of the earth in that month. And so, yeah, that was from the last question. And then on what you just read, it's like they're really digging in on this, the importance of this with this covenant.
Mhm. Yes, Sister Tanita. Yeah, because it seems like the things we've taken for granted, I mean, not knowing. And I wonder, like reading this chapter, I realized, like, I wonder the things that are affecting us or speaking against us because of Yahweh's eternal covenant that, most of us didn't know. So that is very powerful. Yes, Brother Reno.
Yes, I'm starting to notice a reoccurring theme here with the Most High. Covenant is huge.
Tell me.
Covenant is covenant is a big deal, right?
Mhm.
But then also I'm seeing a reoccurring theme of this blood, because I was just thinking about how in Genesis, um, how Abel's blood was crying up to the Most High. He basically heard his blood, and he asked Cain, like, where's your brother? And then I was just thinking about how in Enoch, how the blood of the righteous cried out. They kind of cried out not for revenge, but for for retribution or for righteous judgment. And it's starting to come together for me. Covenant is huge, and it's something about the blood is huge, because we even we even plead the blood of the Messiah and ask to be covered in the blood of the Messiah. So I don't know. Those two themes seem to be converging here, and it's like it's like solid themes throughout the scripture, and it has a lot to do with blood. It has a lot to do with covenant, and that's what I noticed.
Yeah, it's very powerful, Brother Reno. Very, very powerful. And I'm also understanding the importance of covenant and definitely the blood. Because of covenant, that's why Yasharo is in the situation it's in right now, because of covenant and how we didn't know, but the Most High knew that from the very beginning we were going to not keep the covenant. He's ever faithful covenant keeper, but us, on the other hand, that's something else. So I'm so thankful that, we are coming to the realization, the importance of how we need to keep Yahweh's covenant, the Sabbaths, the feasts, all the things that we've been told that is not that important, but we know how important it is and how it's speaking against us, our lives, because of how we've not been faithful to the covenant. But thank you. Sister C.
Greetings, everyone. Yes, I definitely agree with that. And I'll also add, I see a recurring thing of how our decisions and behaviors and lack thereof impact not only ourselves, but our seed or our next generation. We saw from Adam and Eve when they, took the fall in the garden, how that impacted generations. And even Noah's own sons, they were saved or preserved because of their father. Noah was righteous and did the things. And now we're seeing here eating blood that can not only get only your name out, even your seed's name out from um, being continually in front of the Father. And I did have a question where it says, one moment, verse 14, they
Mm-hmm.
will also they will observe it throughout their generation so that they may continue supplicating on your behalf with blood before the altar. Is that the messengers or our forefathers? That's what I'm
The shall serve the Lord on your behalf. Every day and at the time. Okay, let me read it. So, verse 14. There's no limit of days for this law, it is forever. They shall observe it throughout their generations so that they may continue supplicating on your behalf with blood before the altar. Every day and at the time of morning and evening, they shall seek forgiveness on your behalf, perpetually before Yahweh, that they may keep it and not be rooted out. Anybody has an answer to that? That's a good question. I guess that's something we'd have to dig deeper in. It's no limit of days for this law. And let me read
Can you,
like from a different. Oh, go ahead.
I'm just wondering, can the question be repeated, please?
Yes, the they that is mentioned in verse 14 is that the forefathers that are doing the continued supplication, or is that the messengers doing the continued supplications before Yahweh? I see that Malek wrote forefathers in the chat, but yeah, that's the question.
Okay, so a different version that I can read for all of us for verse 14. So this is supposed to be like the Hymenaeus translation. So verse 14, it reads, this law has no temporal limits because it is forever. They are to keep it throughout history so that they may continue supplicating for themselves with blood in front of the altar each and every day, in the morning and in the evening. They are continually to ask pardon for themselves before Yahweh so that they may keep it and not be uprooted. So that's another version. Me reading that verse, it seems like us.
Yeah, I would agree with
I'm
that verse.
sorry.
Seems like more like us.
Yeah, to me it seems like it's just talking basically moving into the sacrificial laws.
Yeah. And Sister Tanita.
I don't have an answer for that, so I can wait until after I had something different.
Have we resolved it, Sister C, or no?
Yes,
Okay.
we're good to move on. Thank y'all.
Okay, thank you.
Something came to mind when Brother Reno was pointing it out, and as I see as they're digging in about this blood thing, so I was thinking about, it and I had a question. Um, when we're talking about not consuming blood and the importance of it, and then he mentioned the blood of Messiah, how is life in the blood, and the Father is constantly saying, "Don't consume blood, don't consume blood. And so in this group, I'm sure there's people that have heard of people that actually consume blood, like human blood. And I'm hearing that they're doing this to preserve life in them, like something like it preserves their life, make them younger, or help their bodies when you're talking about human blood. And when I think about that, if that's the case, and that is blood that they're consuming to do that, that means that it goes into them and it has an effect on them. So I'm wondering if consuming human blood does somewhat of the same and has an effect on you consuming it, because he's still saying life is in the blood, but it's a different type of uh, being. I guess you can say humans, of course, have blood, and animals would have a different type. So people will consume blood to preserve their life or make them youthful when they're consuming human blood. My question is, what do you all think happens when people consume animal blood? I think Brother Reno got an answer for me, but what do y'all think?
Well, I see you starting to hit on that thing that I was getting close to. It's something in all of that. The enemy, Satan, he can't create anything. All he does is take what the Most High creates and try to invert it. So yes, it would be, of course, you would have like the tales of the vampires and all that. Of course, Satan is going to try to take that and pervert it in some kind of way. So yeah, it, just you asking that, it kind of lets me know that it's definitely something there with the blood on both sides, good and evil. Um, so yeah, you have the dark side. They know the power of blood. They use it in ritualistically. They use it in all the evil forms, and even the way you just explained with the whole vamp thing. That's a form of the evil using blood and what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know, just perverting the whole thing. But then on the positive side, we plead the blood of the Messiah. It is powerful. There is immense power in blood in all facets, consumption wise, pleading it wise, the whole nine, right? So yeah, you definitely touching on some. Um, I don't know. That might require a whole study within itself, but yeah, that's what I kind of got.
Yeah, and I'm 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 not trying to stretch it too far, but if if a person consumes that blood, what we're in this situation that we're talking about, did it mention in here about affecting generations?
I said
So,
that their generation will be uprooted from the land. I
because
think
I'm
that
just wondering if that consuming does something that, yeah, it affects the generations. Okay, thank you, Sister Mavis. Ooh, the blood is powerful. I see life in the blood. Mm.
yeah, and I mean, coming back to what we are talking about, people consuming blood. And I mean, of course, the adversary will always take what Yahweh has ordained and turn into something else. And we've seen it, from the garden, how he spoke with Eve, like the Yahweh says. And I've heard like people that are doing longevity studies. Um, Part of it they consume, I mean, they call it plasma because of the separation. But I mean, all of this stuff, we all know that, it's not of Yahweh, and they're doing this to live long. And anyway, it's just, I mean, people have to, anyway, I I'm trying not to, let it go the wrong way. They're doing all these things to live long. And if Yahweh has decided our time, He's decided, okay, 120 years max. If it's time to go, it's time to go. So for people who want to live longer, you will know that it's a different spirit that is on them. It's definitely not from the Most High. It's something else that is, causing them to want to do that. And of course, I mean, these people have excessive amount of money, and of course, they want to be able to spend it. And anyway, so let's continue on. So
They
verse
want to sin. They want to sin forever. They want.
ex,
They want to stick around and live forever, so they can sin on earth forever.
isn't that something? I mean, that is quite something because
That that or they know what they have to face in the end, and they're trying to avoid
it's
that
true.
happening sooner.
It is true. You're absolutely right, sis. So let's continue on verse 15 to 22. And he gave to Noah and his sons a sign that there should not again be a flood on the earth. He set his bow, a rainbow, in the cloud as a sign of the eternal covenant, that there should never again be a flood on the earth to destroy it for all the days of the earth. For this reason it is ordained and written on the heavenly tablet that they should celebrate the Feast of Weeks in this month once a year to renew the covenant every year. This whole festival was celebrated in heaven from the day of creation unto the days of Noah, which were 26 Jubilees and 5 weeks of years. Noah and his sons observed it for 7 Jubilees and 1 week of years until the day of Noah's death. From the day of Noah's death, his sons did away with it until the days of Abraham, and they ate blood. But Abraham observed it, and Isaac and Jacob and his children observed it up to your days. And in your days, the children of Yasharel forgot it until you celebrated anew on this mountain. Command the children of Yasharel to observe this festival in all their generations for a commandment to them. One day in the year, in this month, they shall celebrate the festival, for it is the Feast of Weeks and the Feast of First Fruits. This feast is twofold and of a double nature, according to what is written and engraved concerning it. Celebrate it, for I have written in the book of the first law, in that which I have written for you, that you should celebrate it in its season, one day in the year. And I explain it to you, its sacrifices, that the children of Yasharel should remember and should celebrate it throughout their generations in this month, the same day in every year. Um, so any takeaway, anything standing out right out? Okay. So my question is, how does the sign of the rainbow serve as a constant reminder of one's promises? Okay, I'll repeat the question again. How does the sign of the rainbow serve as a constant reminder of the Most High promises? Um, I don't know who was. So, okay, Brother Melek.
Yeah, so this question correctly, but that you won't. that He won't destroy the earth, nor enact judgment with flood. Man, my voice is really off.
I can hear
That He
you.
won't destroy the earth with flood. Okay. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, very powerful, Brother Malek. Yeah, you're absolutely right. It's a constant reminder, like how faithful He is to us, even though we are not faithful. He's consistently faithful to us. Sister Abena.
Oh, I was just about to lower because I think that's simply it. Is that he decided that that would be the sign, um, and we are fortunate to be able to see that today, right? Like after it rains, it's a real thing. It's not such a theoretical or mystical thing. Like we can actually see.
Yes.
Yeah, the kids are in the background. The rainbow after the rain, so it's something very real, very present, and very lasting. Um, and again, sorry, I'm just gonna move 1 second. Again, it makes me think of the inversions, you know, that the enemy puts out there, and it shows how hard he's working, which makes
Yes.
me believe all the more in Wa and everything that he is, because we see like a consistent pattern of inversion. So if they're working so hard and using these things, okay, then it must be very real, right? Like
Absolutely.
the been
Absolutely.
co-opted, the blood has been co-opted, the vampires are romanticized. So it's like, okay, this is real because they're fighting tooth and nail
Yes.
to use all the things that Watt has used.
Absolutely. That was my next question. Thank you, Sister Abena. Brother Victor.
So, one thing I wanted to kind of just, as I thinking about the rainbow, thinking what a rainbow actually is, and it's if you think a rainbow is the purest light, it's really the purest light. It's light broken up in its purest form, right? Which is the different colors. And it shows you that. I mean, that our Heavenly Father, that He's showing that throughout the storm, throughout all this stuff, that His promise is still light, and He's showing us the purity of Himself through His promises. So, to me, that's what still kind of stood out. That's why I think about, at least when I see rainbows in the sky, because it's a spectrum that we normally won't see in light, but through after the rain. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. And like, Sister Adnan said, this is something we can see when it rains. And so He's still faithful. What He has said, He's showing it to us every time. He's reminding us who He is. And that's pretty powerful. And thank you. Sister Tanita.
I wanted to type this, but it was too much to type. And that doesn't mean I'm gonna be long. I'm a little upset about this rainbow thing though, because I can't even buy rainbow shirts. I can't put rainbow stuff. I mean, like I can't do anything with this rainbow now because it's gonna get mixed up. So I just had to say that I'm a little upset about them messing up, what it stands for. So,
Mhm.
yeah, that's it.
I'm with
Absolutely.
Man,
you,
we
Sister
can't even have
Anita.
a rainbow. You just messed the rainbow up for me. I was sitting here happy about the rainbow until you just said that, and I said, "Oh, now I got to give up the rainbow."
Yeah, it's funny. We have a little playground that we have parties on, and my sister bought like plates and napkins, and they were rainbow, and that was unfortunately the first thing that came to my mind, and I knew that's not what it meant in that case because this is in Ghana, so it's not the first thing. But for me, I was like, oh, X A B C D, the letters, and we all kind of laughed. But yeah, that's the hijacking of the rainbow. But maybe we can take it back some.
Yeah, absolutely. They have hijacked it, and Like if they take something that I've said and hijacked it, that it means something. The more reason for us to dig deeper and hold on to the promises of And Sister Nicole.
No, I was just thinking it's funny too how they pervert everything. They found out a way to pervert everything. For the longest time, I that rainbow has been used in that sense for so long as I can remember, that I actually forgot what it truly represented. I had a friend that had a baby shower, and I come into this baby shower. This was probably about 6 or 7 years ago. I walk into this baby shower, and it was in a church, and there was rainbows everywhere. I'm like, what on earth is going on? And it was because she had lost a baby before, and she was pregnant with her rainbow baby, her baby that represented, God's promise after the storm. And I couldn't even, it's been perverted so badly that I couldn't even, my mind couldn't even connect the rainbow to it anymore. And it's sad because when I think about it too, but I'm like, y'all, let's take the rainbow back and take it back to its foundation. I'll just wear a rainbow and just put God promises over so they'd understand what it's for. That's all I got.
Can I say it's going to take a lot of work? I want to say this right quick. She made me think of something. My grandmother was deceased. She passed in 2025. She was 98. So I just thank the Father for that. But quickly, they're so deceptive with it because I went to her house one day and she was still in her 90s, probably 95, maybe 3 years before that. And a good friend of hers, a relative of hers daughter had gone to an event and she bought her something back. And it was, I think it was a pillow or something that was a rainbow. And my grandmother just round there with that rainbow. And I had to talk to her just to ask her, was she aware? Now, does that mean that she couldn't, have the rainbow? I wasn't saying that to her, but she was not aware of what it meant at this point, in life. So I just made sure I let her know because, people come to the house that if they don't know the promises like we're looking at, they're going to be thinking one thing. And I just want my grandmother to be aware so she can kind of let them know that no, that's not what it is. But she kind of put it to the side. So they do deception with it. They took it to my grandmother in her 90s that I'm sure what she thinking the rainbow is was not what it represented, at this time. So just remember that.
Yeah, that is quite something. Like all her life, she's been okay with rainbow until a group of people decided to hijack it. And now nobody can use it the way it's meant to be used anymore. Thank you for sharing. Brother Victor?
So I just like we was talking about trends earlier. It's like this is another trend on the enemy. It's like whenever Yah tell us to remember, the enemy finds a way to distract us to put our mind away from it. Remember the promise that he won't flood it, but what he said next time what he will do, and it trying to divert our attention. Remember to follow the Sabbath. Oh, nah, the attention is let's just focus on Sunday. Like it's always a strategy from the enemy to distract people and to build that taste that uh, uh which is really I guess it's a way of perversing Yah's promises and his plans. So we won't go there because we have this stigma for it. So that's all I want to say.
Yeah, that's quite something, Brother Victor. Thank you so much for that addition. And I just wanted to read this real quick by Brother Brian about the blood. It said, regarding the life being in the blood, Genesis 2:7, where breathed life in man's nostril and he became a living soul. Where a spirit or breath, the invisible life force in all creation. Messiah said he gave us living water. We know he gave us his blood as sacrifice to atone for our sins. Blood is composed primarily of water, and its primary purpose is to carry oxygen with each breath throughout our body. Blood is a living water. It carries life throughout our body, without which we become dead. Dead souls. Messiah's physical body gave up the ghost after he was pierced and bled out. Why is the breath which gives life to all? Yep, absolutely. Thank you for that addition, Brother Brian. Thank you. Brother Victor is, you can go ahead, or is your hand still raised, or?
I'm sorry, I forgot to take it down.
Okay, all right, sorry. Okay, no problem. Okay, so thank you. Very great discussion. Thank you. Because that was my next question about the rainbow and how a people has hijacked it, but you've already added to it. And another thing, so Feast of Weeks was covenant, or Feast of Harvest, which is in Exodus 23:16, which is also Feast of Pentecost, Acts 2:1. So why gave us this? And I was reading verse written. I'm sorry, I thought I had it. Feast of Festival was celebrated. But I think it's quite interesting how everything that Wa has been telling us to do, the heavens, it's already been done. Oh, it's already been done over there. So how it is very important for us to keep up with his Sabbaths, like his his ordained feast, that how important it is for us to get back to and be consistent with it, because how it it foreshadows what is to come, and how like the teachings before we came to the truth have completely do away with it, saying that it's not that important, or we're under grace now and it doesn't matter. And even though we claim it does not matter, yes, we've adapted other festivals that he has not ordained for us to, celebrate. So you realize that all of this is from the enemy, because if Wa has told us to, he has given us his Sabbaths, he has given us his feasts. How come we can do away with it, but then adopt others festivals or celebrations that he has not told us to celebrate? So this is for all of us to go back to the ancient ways, what Yah has told us to focus on, instead of extra biblical stuff that he has not told us to be part of. Does anybody has any addition before I move to the next session? Okay. So going to 23 to 31. In the first new month, and in the fourth new month, and in the seventh new month, and in the 10th new month are the days of remembrance, and the days of the seasons in the four divisions of the year. These are written and ordained as a testimony forever. Noah ordained them for himself as feasts for the generations forever, so that they have become a memorial to him. On the first new month, he was told to make for himself an ark, and on that day the earth was dry, and he saw from the open ark the earth. On the fourth new month, the The mouths of the depths of the bottomless pit beneath were closed. On the seventh new month, all the mouths of the abysses of the earth were open, and the waters began to descend into them. Verse 27, on the 10th new month, the tops of the mountains were seen, and Noah was glad. Because of this, he ordained them for himself as feasts for a memorial forever. And thus are they ordained. And they placed them on the heavenly tablet. Each had 13 weeks from one to another, past their memorial, from the first to the second, and from the second to the third, and from the third to the fourth. All the days of the commandment will be 250 weeks of days, and this will make the entire year complete. Thus it is engraved and ordained on the heavenly tablets, and there's no neglecting this commandment for a single year or from year to year. And does anything stand out from these verses or session? Any observation? Sister Abner. Sister Abner.
Oh, sorry, I was talking on mute. Thank you.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, it makes me think again of considering the flow of our conversation, that like, okay, now I'm understanding why certain things were taken out of the canon that we have.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like there's enough to kind of follow, but like Wa has all the details of the hows, in these extra books. So that's what I'm getting. It's like, okay, and I it can seem overwhelming because I'm like, okay, I'm gonna have to go back and read how to celebrate Feast of Weeks. Because again, it's like, oh, this is important. This is the rebuilding of our heritage and our culture. It can seem overwhelming, but at the same time, it's so blessed again to have these groups and have the dry bones waking up. I know there's several groups that are waking up and gathering to try and figure out, how to come back to and I would like to think that he's looking at us like little babies, when babies learn to walk and clap and, say things. It's like, oh, look. So instead of it being intimidating, I switch that picture in my mind and be like, okay, I think he's pleased. We're waking up, we're learning, we're stumbling, we don't quite get it, but he sees us coming back. And I say that I think that's important to remember that grace that he has, because a lot of people, like, especially in the church, at least the one I went to, the ones would say, they'll bring up the verse. It's like, well, if you don't do it perfectly, then you're doing it wrong. It says, what is it, the verse? If a tittle is dropped from this, they quote that verse to make us feel like, well, we shouldn't do it at all if we're not doing it perfectly. So in summary, I think it's okay that we're not doing it perfectly, because Wa is gracious to us and he knows that we have been blinded and have forgotten. And he has given us direction on how to do it at least more in line, if not perfectly. So yeah, I'm looking forward to just continuing to learn how to observe these things, seeing their importance, and knowing that we're in His grace to do it imperfectly as we reach towards Him.
Yes, absolutely. And even for us to be, this moment, even discussing this alone is by His grace. And I'm thankful. And I realize that coming to know the fees and His appointment times is a whole lifestyle change, because, up till this point, a lot of us didn't know what we're supposed to be doing. So It's quite a lot. It can seem overwhelming, but eh, His grace and mercy is also helping us to get there. So, yeah, thank you. Sister C?
Yes, thank you. I think through this, there's a lot here. For once, you just see Yahweh is the same, right? The celebration of weeks, just like the Sabbath was done in the heavens at the beginning of the time of creation, even at the time of Noah, in the storm, him coming out of the ark and celebrating the celebration of weeks, and even the very fact that Moses is getting this and celebrating the celebration of weeks at the same time, the level of order, the level of consistency. I think that is beautiful. Another thing is a lot of the times we seek to do what we read in Leviticus 23 regarding the feast days, but we lose the spirit behind the feast days that comes along with it, like understanding what the celebration of weeks actually meant. Why is the first fruits important? The depthness of the Sabbath. I think that is missing a lot. So that's what I got from these sections.
Thank you so much, Sister C. You're absolutely right. You make very, very good points. The importance of the feast and how we're supposed to celebrate it, and in the spirit that we are supposed to celebrate it, and how all of this are things to come. So, yeah, very important. Thank you. Any addition? And Brother Melek?
Yeah, I was going with verse 31. You ain't allowed to skip one and then do another. You have to do all the same. Not trying to skip in 1 year and then or skip them year after year. Because in verse 31 it says, and there is no neglecting this commandment for a single year or from year to year.
Yeah, absolutely, Brother Melek. Yeah, so verse 31, how it said, there's no neglecting this commandment for a single year or from year to year. How we have to be consistent and be in the right spirit for your appointment times and his feast. I guess I had this question, but I guess we have somewhat already answered. So I had a question that how has not keeping was appointment feast Sabbaths affected our lives? Yes, Sister Tinita.
Sister Mavis, did we get to verse 32 yet? Because I don't want. Is it okay for me
Oh,
to
not
mention
yet. I mean, that's
Okay,
okay.
I'll
We
wait.
can.
Because the only thing I was thinking for me, I cannot recall, and it's just maybe me. I'm seeing here how even though the calendar that we use now is all I know it's the Gregorian, but we still look like we have these 4 quarters as is mentioned in here. Verse 29, I think, mentions each quarter of the year contains 13 weeks. So it looks like we still have that. We still have the 52 weeks as mentioned in verse 30, right? And then in verse 32, we don't have the 364 days, but it's there. And I think that that's interesting because I cannot recall what I was taught in school why we go by, 4 quarters 52 weeks, and then we're off by the 365. Here it says 364. I can't remember what we're taught in school when it comes to that, but I found it interesting. But for me, it here it confirms y'all's word, because although I can't recall, I would assume that they have come up with their own reasons why we have this breakdown the way we have it. And so it just lets me know that they know why, those that have changed it. And it also confirms Daniel's prophecy about seeking to change times and to keep us from being able to celebrate it. So I think that it has affected me just by not knowing, um, and not knowing to celebrate it. And my family did not celebrate it because they did not know. So it just pretty much makes us be in or not in alignment with the Father when you think that you're trying to serve Him before, when I didn't know these things. So I feel like it just, the goal is deception again so that you can't celebrate it. That's it.
Yes, absolutely. And then be totally off, because once we know the seasons, the times, we know what to expect, what to do. But I mean, until I came to the way, I didn't know I was on a wrong calendar. I didn't even know there was another calendar. So imagine that. Anyway, um, Sister C.
Nicole was first.
Oh, sorry, Sister Nicole.
Oh, thank you. I'm with Sister Nita. It's just kind of, for me, it's made my walk a little more intense, because there's so much with, especially surrounding the feast and everything, the Shabbat, that I just don't quite understand, and it's really hard. Like, honestly, without the help of others on this walk, there's almost no way for some of us to really figure out when we're supposed to be celebrating these feasts. And um I also feel like it's a way that, as we try to leave religion, and we try to come back to following the way, walking a narrow path, it continues to create strife for us. And it's like, for me, from a lot of us in this walk, we are very divided. Just like Christianity is divided by their denominations, a lot of us on this walk are divided too, because we're divided by when we should observe Shabbat, when the feast days, because there's multiple calendars even for us on this walk. So I feel like it's just something just so deeply rooted by the enemy that it continues to separate and divide us. And it's like, when, like, it's almost impossible for Yah's people to truly come together, because there's always going to be this division around, like, these days that are so important for him and for us to observe. That's all I got.
Thank you, Sister Nicole. And you're absolutely right. But one thing that can comfort us is the feast days, Sabbaths, very important. But the mercy and grace of why is not like a salvific issue. And I realized that there are three calendars that I try to follow, and I realized that everything is off. Like, one is off by 1 week, one is off by 2 weeks, the other is off by 3 weeks. But was in His mercy and grace know where we are at, and know what I think is the posture of our heart, trying to be faithful to His word. So you're absolutely right. And I guess He knew all of these things will happen, and He knows the beginning from the end from the beginning. So here we find ourselves. But I think, like, with us trying to be faithful to His word, He will see us through one way or the other. So you're absolutely right, Sister C.
Yes, I would definitely add not keeping the appointed times. You will busy up your life with a lot of foolishness. I think, during the Sabbath, you're able to dwell, you're able to read, you're able to praise and worship and not worry about work, not worry about, all of the cares of the world, even though you're not supposed to do that. But that is like a set apart day. And so you have the time there. During the Passover, you get a deeper relationship with the Father there. Keeping unleavened bread, doing, tabernacles, all of those things offer a deeper relationship, a deeper understanding. And it even helps you figure out things within yourself. You can do daily examination. Because I think before then, I was always on the go, go, go. This child got to go here. This child got to do this, da, 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 da. But now you can slow down, listen, pray, like do what needs to be done. And I also agree, like they had to take all these books out because how else could you, control us? How else could you hide this except if you didn't take it out? Because I know a lot of these my edition says like new moon and stuff. If you didn't know not to follow the moon, you would definitely follow the new moon. If your problem doesn't have that, but just reading Jubilees, that will clear all of that up, right? Reading Enoch, that will clear that up. But if you don't have access to that, then having Shabbats with like this helps out so much. So
Yes, thank you very much, Sister C. You're absolutely right. I mean, I was recently thinking and I said, wow, the seventh day has become like my favorite day of the week because that's one day that I can absolutely not do anything. Nobody around me needs to do anything. We just needs to be and focus on the word of God. So you're absolutely right. Very, very, very powerful. Very powerful. And for all of these feast days, for us to reflect the true meaning of it, seek wise face, be in the right spirit. So yeah, he's really faithful, and his mercy and grace, is really keeping us. So very powerful. Thank you. So I'm going to finish with the last session. And the last session is verse 32 to 38. So command you, the children of Yasharal, that they observe the years according to this counting, 364 days, and this will constitute a complete year, and they will not disturb its time from its days and from its feet. For everything will fall out in them according to their testimony. They will not leave out any day nor disturb any feast. But if they neglect and do not observe them according to his commandment, then they will disturb all their seasons, and the years will be dislodged from this order, and they will neglect their established rules. And all the children of Yasharal will forget and will not find the path of the years, and will forget the new month and seasons and Sabbath, and they will wrongly determine all the order of the years. For I know, and from now on will I declare to you, and it is not of my own devising, for the book lies written in the presence of me, and on the heavenly tablets the division of the days is ordained. Or they forget the feast of the covenant and walk according to the feast of the Gentiles, after their error and after their ignorance. For there will be those who will assuredly make observations of the moon, and how it disturbs the season and comes in from year to year 10 days too soon. For this reason, the years will come upon them when they disturb or misinterpret the order, and make an abominable day the day of testimony, and an unclean day a feast day. And they will confound all the days, the pure with the unclean, and the unclean day with the pure, for they will go wrong as to the months and Sabbaths and feasts and jubilees. For this reason, I command and testify to you that you may testify to them. For after your death, your children will disturb them, so that they will not make the year 364 days only. For this reason, they will go wrong as to the new months and seasons and Sabbaths and festivals, and they will eat all kinds of blood with all kinds of flesh. Wow, I think this session, sums it up pretty good, like from the beginning and to the end, towards the end, it sums up pretty good. Brother Malek.
You continue first.
Brother Malek.
Okay then. I wanted to add that. What was the verse that you were reading? That had.
I'm sorry, say that again.
There was a verse that I was asking first before saying what I wanted to say. The verse that said that something like observing the entire festivities, maybe. I'm just paraphrasing.
I'm sorry, say that again. I'm so sorry.
I was asking what was the verse that was.
Oh, it's verse 32 to 38. The one that I just read? Yeah, are you there, Brother Malek? Okay. Does anybody have anything to add from verses 32 to 38? Okay, so but my question, I think we've already answered the question, like how come the common like the books that we have in the Bible now, that like none of them really talk about the days, or like the calendar, the days of the week, and realizing how important this is. Like how come it's not included in the regular books, that is like in the books 66, or the books that have a little bit more. Like how come, I mean, this seems to be very, very important, because it seems like once we have the days wrong, everything is off. How come it doesn't, these books don't mention about the calendar? Sister Tanita?
Yeah, I think it's Isaiah 55. It talks about how the Father word does not return to him void, but it go forth and accomplish that which he said it, sends it forth to do. And the Daniel prophecy, it had to come to pass that they were going to seek to change the times. So I just think that is prophecy coming to pass. I think removing it would get people off the schedule so that you're not able to serve, you're not able to know, and it's a part of the deception that's there. I think that it's just the Father's word coming to pass and it being fulfilled so that we won't be able to serve him properly. It's deception.
Absolutely. It's prophecy coming to pass, and with real prophecy, true prophecy, it has to come to pass. And it's quite amazing. Like this time that I think we are living in a very prophetic times. Like everything that is coming together, everything that has been said. I mean, I only heard of the book of Jubilees like maybe 2 years ago. All my life, I just finally heard about the book of Jubilees and the book of Enoch. So I think we are living in amazing time, and I truly thank the Most High for what He's showing us now. Sister Nicole.
To answer your question, I think when we really look back, we do know that these books were at one time in the canon.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that maybe some of the information that's in these books, the reason they're not mentioned in other books in the original canon is because I feel like every book in scripture, the Father wanted us to get something out of it. It was something that he particularly wanted us to get out of each of those books. And I think maybe Genesis is written the way it is written because God, the Most High, wanted us to focus on creation. And then you have this book of Jubilees that comes in and retells the story of creation, but it tells that story with greater details and it just fill in blanks. And I think the Most High has his focus for Genesis was creation, and Jubilees was for something else, and Enoch was for something else. And it's just woe to them that remove, the books from the original canon. And it's disheartening, for us knowing that um man decided, what was good for us and what wasn't. And they didn't let the Most High decide, man decided. So I do agree with Sister Nita on it's part of whole prophecy being fulfilled. It's just a part of deception, but I think each book is written the way it is because the Most High wanted us to get something specific from them.
Very powerful, Sister Nicole. Thank you so much for that. At the end of the day, is what he has said that it will come to pass. So thank you for that. Brother Melek?
Because I wanted to ask first, did you hear my contribution or something? Because I think I was cut in the middle of me contributing by the net.
Okay. Well, I mean, thank you. Thank you so much. Any last thought? Any addition?
Did you hear my contribution or something?
Go ahead, Brother Melek.
It's about the Christmas stuff.
Yes.
That he, it's already heard, huh? Okay. Thank you. Because that was all.
And no, we didn't hear that. So could you please repeat yourself, please?
Okay. They sent me an ad. I hate ads. They bring up ads even local apps. Really. Okay, verse 35, it says, "For I know, and from henceforth I will declare it unto you, and it is not for my own devising. For the book is written before me, and on the heavenly tablets, the division of days is ordained, that lest they forget the festival of the covenant and walk according to the feasts of the Gentiles, after their error and after their ignorance." I was saying that the book of Jubilees, actually, it's like a foretelling of us, children of Jacob, that all of these will be lost, and as we go starting playing, go starting celebrating those pagan celebrations or holidays such as Easter, Christmas, and whatever is in the pagan calendar, on the pagan table. So yeah, that was my contribution.
Thank you so much, Brother Malek. Yeah, it's what the enemy has empowered certain people to go against, wise calendar. But through it all, we thank Wow for bringing us to his word, what he has said, and how everything that has been buried, is coming out, and we are finally learning the truth about his word. And he has given us enough word, but I'm glad for the depth, the details now that is coming out, and so thankful. Does anybody has anything to add or final thought? Well, thank you everyone for joining. I mean, your time. Thank you so much. Thank you for this moment. Thank Wow for allowing us to be in this space and to discuss everything that we are able to discuss. I guess if someone can, close us in prayers.
I'll pray us out.
Thank you, Brother Reno.
No problem. Most High, thank you for another beautiful Sabbath. Thank you for covering us, protecting us, guiding us, leading us. Thank you for your unlimited wisdom. Thank you for your set-apart word, Father. I ask that you continue to protect us and guide us for this week. Light up the snares on our path this week, Father. Show us the snares. Show us the pitfalls so we can hop right over them. Thank you, Most High Yahweh. This I pray in your Son's name, Messiah, Yahweh save, so be it.
So be it. Thank you so much. Thank you.